Imagine if one day, an entire nuclear submarine carrying deadly missiles simply vanished. No distress call, no survivors, no wreckage, just gone. In 1968, that's exactly what happened to a Soviet submarine deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. On board were 98 crew members, nuclear weapons, encrypted codebooks, and some of the Soviet Union's most closely guarded military secrets. The Soviet Navy launched one of the largest search operations in its history. Warships searched for weeks. Aircraft scanned thousands of square miles. Submarines joined the hunt, but they found absolutely nothing. It was as if the ocean had erased every trace of its existence. What the Soviets didn't know was that the CIA had been listening. Hidden beneath the Pacific was a secret American underwater surveillance network designed to detect submarine activity. When analysts reviewed its recordings, they discovered something extraordinary: a violent underwater acoustic event, followed by complete silence. To Soviet commanders, the submarine had mysteriously disappeared. To the CIA, it had just become the greatest intelligence opportunity of the Cold War, because somewhere nearly 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean rested a Soviet nuclear submarine filled with secrets the United States had spent years trying to obtain. If America could recover it, they might unlock Soviet military technology, encrypted communications, and intelligence capable of changing the balance of the Cold War. But there was one enormous problem. The submarine lay almost 16,500 feet below the ocean surface, far deeper than any recovery mission ever attempted. Most engineers believed such an operation was impossible. The pressure alone could crush ordinary equipment long before it reached the wreck. Yet inside CIA headquarters, no one asked whether it was impossible. Instead, they asked something far more dangerous. What if we actually pull it off? That single question triggered one of the boldest covert operations in American history. The CIA approved a mission so secret that even thousands of people working on it would never know its real purpose. The operation would cost nearly $800 million at the time, equivalent to several billions today. To hide the truth, the CIA needed more than secrecy. They needed a believable lie, a cover story convincing enough to fool journalists, foreign governments, and even Soviet intelligence. Their solution shocked everyone. They turned to one of the world's most famous billionaires, Howard Hughes, publicly. He announced plans to build a revolutionary ship to mine valuable minerals from the bottom of the ocean. The media believed him. The world believed him. Even Soviet spies believed him. But mining the ocean was never the real mission. The giant ship was being built for something far more dangerous. It was designed to steal one of the Soviet Union's greatest military secrets from the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. And what happened next became one of the most unbelievable espionage missions ever attempted. Recovering the submarine wasn't about saving lives. That opportunity had disappeared years earlier. This was about something far more valuable: information. Inside K-129 were Soviet encryption systems, military communication equipment, navigation technology, and classified documents that American intelligence had spent years trying to understand. If the CIA could recover even part of the submarine, it could provide an extraordinary advantage in the Cold War. But first, they had to find it. Using data from the U.S. Navy's highly classified underwater acoustic surveillance network, intelligence analysts spent months studying the sounds recorded on the night K-129 disappeared. Every vibration, every underwater signal, every unusual noise was carefully examined. Eventually, they identified a remote location in the North Pacific where they believed the submarine had come to rest. Finding it was a breakthrough. Recovering it was another story entirely. The wreck lay nearly 16,500 feet below the ocean surface, a depth where sunlight never reaches and water pressure can destroy ordinary equipment within seconds. No country had ever attempted a recovery at such an extreme depth. Many engineers called the idea impossible. The CIA refused to accept that answer. If the technology didn't exist, they would build it. But another problem quickly emerged. Even if America succeeded, the Soviet Union could never discover what was happening. A military recovery operation would immediately attract attention. Soviet naval forces could arrive within days, turning a secret mission into an international crisis. The CIA needed the perfect cover story, one that looked completely ordinary, one that no one would question. That's when they approached one of America's most famous billionaires, Howard Hughes. Known for ambitious engineering projects and unconventional ideas, Hughes was the ideal public face for an operation that didn't officially exist. Soon, newspapers around the world reported that Howard Hughes was building an enormous ship to mine rare minerals from the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. The story sounded futuristic. Scientists discussed it. Journalists covered it. Foreign governments accepted it. Even Soviet intelligence appeared to believe it, exactly as the CIA had planned. Behind that convincing public story, however, engineers were quietly constructing one of the most sophisticated covert recovery systems ever designed. A ship that wasn't built to mine the ocean, but to recover a lost Soviet nuclear submarine from the bottom of the sea. Its name would become legendary, the Hughes Glomar Explorer. And hidden inside that ship was a machine unlike anything the world had ever seen. A gigantic mechanical claw designed to reach nearly 3 miles into the darkness below. If it worked, history would change. If it failed, hundreds of millions of dollars and one of the CIA's greatest secrets would disappear into the Pacific forever. Building the Hughes Glomar Explorer was only half the challenge. The real question was, could it actually lift a Soviet submarine from nearly 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean? To accomplish the impossible, CIA engineers designed a machine unlike anything the world had ever built. Hidden inside the ship was a massive mechanical recovery system centered around a gigantic steel claw. Its mission sounded simple: descend to the ocean floor, grip the wreck of K-129, and lift thousands of tons of twisted steel back to the surface. In reality, every stage of the operation pushed engineering beyond its limits. At a depth of more than 16,000 feet, even a minor equipment failure could end the mission instantly. If a cable snapped, the submarine would disappear forever. If the claw lost its grip, years of planning and hundreds of millions of dollars would sink back into the darkness. No one knew whether the submarine's weakened hull could even survive being lifted after spending 6 years on the ocean floor. Yet there was no backup plan, only one attempt. As the Hughes Glomar Explorer quietly arrived above a recovery site in the summer of 1974, the crew prepared for the most dangerous phase of the operation. The ship appeared calm from the outside, but beneath it, history was about to be tested thousands of feet below the surface. Slowly, the enormous steel claw disappeared into the black waters of the Pacific. Hour after hour, it descended deeper into complete darkness. Everyone on board understood one thing: if this failed, Project AZORIAN would become the most expensive secret the CIA had ever lost. But if it succeeded, America might recover one of the Soviet Union's greatest military secrets. Then the instruments signaled that the claw had finally reached the ocean floor. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the massive steel claw slowly closed around a wreck of K-129. For a brief moment, everything went exactly as planned. Inside the control room, engineers watched as the recovery system began lifting the submarine from the ocean floor. Foot by foot, the wreck started rising toward the surface. Years of planning, billions of dollars in today's value, and one of the most secret operations in CIA history were finally becoming reality. But no one celebrated. Everyone understood the greatest danger wasn't reaching the submarine. It was bringing it home. After spending more than 6 years under crushing ocean pressure, the submarine's hull had become dangerously fragile. Every foot it climbed increased the strain on the damaged metal. Then, without warning, the unimaginable happened. Violent vibrations shook the lifting system. Warning alarms echoed through the ship. Thousands of feet below the surface, large sections of K-129 suddenly cracked apart. Engineers stared at their monitors in disbelief as most of the submarine slipped from the giant mechanical claw and disappeared back into the darkness forever. Years of preparation seemed to vanish in a matter of seconds. For several tense moments, no one aboard the Glomar Explorer knew whether the mission had completely failed. Then came a small but crucial piece of good news. The claw was still holding part of the submarine. It wasn't the complete victory the CIA had hoped for, but it wasn't a total defeat either. as the damaged section continued its slow journey toward the surface. Another danger was rapidly approaching. The operation that had remained hidden for years was about to attract attention from the outside world, and keeping the mission secret was becoming almost impossible. When the recovery operation finally ended, the CIA faced one question. Had Project AZORIAN actually succeeded? Although much of K-129 had fallen back to the ocean floor, the recovery team managed to bring a section of the submarine aboard the Hughes Glomar Explorer. Exactly what was recovered remains one of the Cold War's greatest mysteries. Many official records are still classified. Some historians believe the CIA recovered valuable intelligence. Others argue that the most important secrets were lost forever beneath the Pacific. What is publicly known, however, is remarkable. Inside the recovered section were the remains of several Soviet sailors. Despite the fierce rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, the CIA conducted a respectful military burial at sea. Years later, video of that ceremony was shared with Russia, a rare moment of humanity during one of history's coldest conflicts. For a short time, Project AZORIAN remained hidden. Then, in 1975, journalists began uncovering clues about the mysterious ship and its true mission. As reporters demanded answers, the CIA refused to confirm or deny the operation. Instead, officials issued a carefully worded response that would become famous around the world. We can neither confirm nor deny the existence of such an operation. That sentence became known as the Glomar Response, a phrase that intelligence agencies still use today whenever they refuse to discuss classified activities. Project AZORIAN ultimately became far more than a submarine recovery mission. It proved that the impossible could be engineered, that deception could be as powerful as technology, and that some of history's greatest battles were fought not on the battlefield, but in complete secrecy. Even today, most of K-129 still rests nearly 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean, a silent reminder that some Cold War secrets were recovered and others remain buried forever. Sometimes, the deepest secrets in history aren't hidden in government vaults, they're hidden beneath the ocean itself. If you enjoyed uncovering one of the CIA's most daring secret operations, subscribe to Story Nest. Every week, we reveal the classified missions, hidden history, and untold stories that shape the modern world.